Hello friends, my name is Ryan, and today I am going to tell you a story named The Hatton Garden Heist, the UK's biggest burglary, which is truly an amazing tale, full of twists and turns. This story will leave you at the edge of your seat. So, let's begin. It was the night of April 2nd, 2015, and London was wrapped in the usual hum of the bustling city, with lights reflecting off wet streets after a light rain. But, far from the noise of traffic and everyday life, an unusual plan was unfolding in the shadows. The Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company, located in the heart of London, housed some of the most valuable items in the country. Gold, rare diamonds, stacks of cash, it was the vault of the elite. It was a place where people kept their most precious belongings, trusting the security system to keep them safe. But little did they know that on this particular night, their precious items were about to be stolen by a group of elderly men. Yes, you read that right, elderly men, well beyond their prime. This was no ordinary heist. No guns were drawn. No fast getaways. This was a meticulously planned operation, carried out by men in their 60s and 70s, some of whom had long retired from a life of crime. But they weren't done. They had one last job to pull off, and they were going to do it in a way that no one would see coming. The ringleader of this unusual group was a man named Brian Reader, a criminal mastermind with years of experience. But his most remarkable trait was his ability to blend in, to disappear into the shadows. Nobody would suspect a man of his age to be involved in something so daring, so audacious. As the night deepened, Brian and his crew made their move. They arrived at the Hatton Garden building in the early hours of the morning, slipping through the back alleys unnoticed. The first hurdle was getting into the building, and for that, they had to disable the security system. Now, the building was protected by state-of-the-art security measures. CCTV cameras, motion detectors, reinforced walls, and a complex alarm system, all designed to deter even the most ambitious burglars. But Brian and his team had a plan. Using their combined knowledge of technology and old-school burglary techniques, they bypassed the system in a way that left the police scratching their heads. Once inside, the crew split up, each with a specific task. Some started drilling into the walls, while others began cracking open safe deposit boxes. It was a slow process, but they were careful, focused, and methodical. Time was on their side. The building was empty, and they had the entire weekend to carry out their work. But just when it seemed like they were going to get away with it, something unexpected happened. One of the crew members, an older man by the name of Terry Perkins, made a mistake. He triggered a silent alarm while trying to open a safe deposit box. Panic set in. The crew had to move quickly, but they couldn't afford to leave empty-handed. In a bold move, Brian ordered them to continue, telling them that the police wouldn't be able to respond quickly enough. He was right. By the time the authorities arrived, the crew had already finished their work and slipped away into the night, leaving behind nothing but a few empty safe deposit boxes and an open vault door. But while they had successfully executed the heist, they didn't count on one thing: the people who would eventually realize what had happened. Over the next few days, rumors began to spread. The media caught wind of the burglary, and soon the entire country was talking about it. The police were under immense pressure to solve the case. They couldn't allow this to go unsolved. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation revealed some shocking details. The burglars had left behind no fingerprints, no DNA, and no obvious clues. It was as if they had vanished into thin air. But as the investigation continued, the police began to uncover a trail of evidence that led them to the unlikeliest of places. One by one, they started to track down the suspects. It wasn't easy, but eventually, Brian Reader, Terry Perkins, and the rest of the crew were arrested. The truth behind the Hatton Garden heist was finally revealed, and it was even more astonishing than anyone had imagined. As the criminals were brought to trial, the world watched in awe at the audacity of these elderly men who had pulled off the UK's biggest burglary. The media dubbed them the Bad Grandpas, a fitting name for a group of criminals who had defied all expectations. In the end, the heist was an unbelievable story of cunning, strategy, and timing. It was a reminder that even the most secure places could be breached, and that age was no barrier to pulling off the perfect crime. The Hatton Garden heist became a legend, and the criminals involved became infamous figures in British crime history. And now, friends, I hope you've enjoyed this thrilling story of deception and daring. But remember, the world is full of mysteries and suspense, and there are many more tales like this waiting to be told. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe to my channel, where I share more spine-chilling, suspense-filled stories just like this one. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and always be ready for the unexpected.